Hey, what up guys, it's Dan, and I am so sorry that it took me so long to get this powder coating video up. Life has been happening, so many life things. I can't go into all of it, but a lot of stuff has been going on, so it's kind of kept me from being able to do YouTube the way I want to. But hopefully, some of these things are going to smooth out in the next couple of weeks or months, and I'll be able to start doing videos a little more consistently. But we're finally getting around to doing the powder coating video, and I'm showing you guys how to take your standard steel finish putter and take it to matte black or just about any color you want. You just have to have the powder for it. So without any more ado and without any more waiting, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Alright, so the putter that I chose to use is a 2016 Newport 2. I've already removed the faceplate, as you can see. I've taken all the screws out as well as the weights on the bottom. And I've also removed all the paint from the putter, so the putter is in a completely raw state and currently sits almost ready to be powder coated. There's a couple steps that we got to take, but it's almost ready. So one of the first steps that we're going to take, one of the first things that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to have something to epoxy into the hosel. So you need, what I use is a cut off piece of shaft. It just makes the most sense. It fits correctly. I know that the epoxy will hold it up. I don't have to worry about it once it goes into the oven coming loose. So I just take a piece of shaft, I cut it down, I take some wire and wrap it around it, and that gives me a way to hang up the putter and gives me something to hold on to so that I'm not screwing up the finish once I've actually put the powder onto the putter. The next thing that we're going to need is a powder coating gun, and I'll tell you right now, you get what you pay for when it comes to the guns. So this is the gun that I use. I like it a lot. There is an Eastwood gun that you can pick up for a lot less money, but personally, I wouldn't suggest it. I did use an Eastwood gun early on when I first started doing this stuff, but the Redline E250 is a much better gun, and the Eastwood gun is only going to give you so-so results. It's not going to give you the best results. Now, the next step is going to be degreasing the putter, making sure you got all the oils from your hands off of the putter and any other dirt or dust is off of the putter, and then you're going to be almost ready to powder coat it. You're going to need to run some type of metal wire to hang the putter on. What you're going to see here is I have a metal wire that actually runs inside of this box, and the box is just used to collect excess powder. And then I have a metal wire that wraps around and runs all the way down to the putter head, and this allows the system to create an electrical charge. And that electrical charge, once the head receives that electrical charge, that's what causes the powder to cling to the putter head. So that's really important. So once it's plugged in, all this stuff comes with the powder coating gun. So if you buy the Redline, you will get all this stuff with the powder coating gun. And then lastly, make sure you do wear a respirator, because as you're going to see in the video in a second, this powder is going to get all inside the air. You do not want to be breathing this stuff in. It's terrible for you. Now on the gun, it comes with a regulator on the bottom that allows you to adjust how much PSI you're putting out. You're not going to need a lot of PSI, so you don't need a massive air compressor to do this. You may at times need you may need to sandblast the putter head before you start powder coating, and if you do need to do any sandblasting, you will need a pretty significant air compressor. But for powder coating itself, you don't need a massive air compressor to do a project of this size. It's pretty small. And then what I'm doing is I'm pretty much just, once the electrical charge, everything's plugged in, electrical charge is running through all the wires, I'm just spraying around the putter head and allowing the powder to cling to the putter head. The goal here is to make sure you're not over coating any one particular area. You're trying to keep the powder coating gun moving and letting the powder cling to the putter head, because you don't want to get a buildup, because getting buildup of the powder will cause imperfections in the finish. After I feel like the putter head is pretty well coated, what I like to do is take the putter over and put it under a really bright light and make sure I'm not missing any areas. So that's really important, because sometimes, depending on how good your lighting is, you could actually have a spot where the powder didn't cling correctly and it looks like it's okay, but it's actually too thin. The powder's too thin, and then once you heat it up, the powder does what they call, it flows. In other words, it melts down and then turns into a solid finish. And when it goes into that flow option, what's going to happen is when you pull the putter out, you're going to be able to see steel through the powder coating because you didn't have a thick enough layer on there. It's a really fine balance between having the correct amount of powder on the putter and having too much powder, because you don't want too much powder either. You don't want too much or too little. There is a balance to how much you want on there, and that's where looking at it under a really bright light is going to be important to make sure you're not missing any areas. So now that the putter is completely coated with powder, it's ready to go into the oven. And this oven is an oven that I picked up at Walmart. It's not very expensive. You can get any type of oven, will pretty much work as long as it has a timer that goes to at least 25 to 30 minutes and can reach a temperature of a minimum temperature of 450 degrees. It does need a bake for about 25 minutes at 450 degrees. And then hopefully when it's all said and done, you get a product that looks something like this. So this is it right out of the oven. I let it cool down. I pulled the shaft that was on it out of there, the extension shaft that I was using, and this is it. So hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you guys learned something about it. It's not super complicated. If you guys have any additional questions for me, please drop them in the comments below. And as always, I hope you guys have a great week. And if you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing. I'll be bringing more golf tech related videos and other types of videos to you guys in the very near future. Have a good one.